Hello everyone, this is Genius Yoshi, and today we are trying out some new cards from Rise of the Floodborn. About half of the set has been released so far, so we're going to be playing with half of the set, but we get to play out with some new goodies. And the goodie we're going to be playing around with is Prince John, the greediest of all, because who doesn't like being greedy? And Prince John's abilities: whenever your opponent discards one or more card, you may draw a card for each card discarded. So we're going to be playing hand control. And while destroying our opponent's hand, we're also going to be drawing a ton of cards, hopefully with Prince John's, and take over the game. So what are our best discard tools with this? Well, we have access to Daisy Duck, Secret Agent, 2/3 for 4. Whenever she quests, the opponent discards a card. So we can also go Daisy Duck, followed by Prince John, and then force the opponent to discard a card off of Daisy's ability, draw a card off of John. Just pretty cool stuff. We also have access to Flynn Rider. Good old threat. Let me sort by ink cost, which we are. Good old Flynn Rider. If he gets attacked, opponent has to discard a card with Prince John, and you get to draw a card. Quite punishing. We want the song, so there's nothing like a free discard draw spell, because we can sing Sudden Chill. Alright, so far we have 3 discard outlets and Prince John as the draw outlet. We can have also access to one of the best draw outlet and one of the best discard outlet if we decide to go and Amber. You have Forgotten Me, just goes straight. Opponent discards 2 card, already seeing play right now. And if the text becomes opponent discards 2 card, you draw 2 card, it might as well say win the game, unless you lose in the next turn or two to very hard aggro. But very strong card, inkable. Might as well include some Rapunzel. We're playing Amber, why not? Card's still holding a ton of value because it's the best, or one of the best at least. So in terms of ink, we now have 3 4-drops. Our 4s are complete. Our 2s are looking good. I'd like another 2-drop that's able to sing Sudden Chill. I'd like another 3-drop. So what else do we have access to? We want some kind of control if we can. And I kind of like Mother Knows Best as the control tool. And if we're going to be playing 2 songs, well, we might as well play Ariel, the spectacular singer. It allows us to find songs from off the top of the deck. And now that we have Sudden Chill as well as Mother Knows Best, well, she makes sense. Of course, it comes with the we probably should be playing at least another song, and Be Our Guest is going to be the song of choice because it's very cheap. It doesn't take much space in your deck. It's inked most of the time, and late game it's a fine draw. So why not? Uninkable count. We have a pair of 3s. We are still missing at least a 2-drop. And then maybe in the 5-6 slots. Although note that we are planning on drawing a bunch of cards, and we probably want to mulligan relatively aggressively towards Prince John. So if we can keep the number of uninkables to a minimum, it would probably be best. They do have Bucky. That would allow our opponent to discard more cards. Not allow them, force them to discard more cards, as long as we play Floodborn characters. But a quick search on Floodborn characters is going to reveal that, well, there's not much there. Donald's another 4-drop. We're really stuffed with 4-drops right now. Mulan would fit well with our songs team, really. But again, in the 4-drop slot, Belle's an interesting potential inclusion, because if she gets challenged, opponent forced to discard their hands, and you would get to draw a ton of cards. But I don't like the fact that she's uninkable for 5, and maybe we'll include a couple of copies, but it's not the best with what we're playing. Whenever we remove 1 or more damage, we may draw a card. A little too slow with Rapunzel. And then we have, well, Big Stitch, Queen. Queen could be interesting. But there's not like 3-4 Floodborn characters that scream I want to be included in this deck. At least not with the reveal so far. I'm hoping we're going to get more Floodborns with Rise of the Floodborn. It's only natural. But for now, I don't think we have quite enough to make Mr. Bucky work. So we're going to keep Bucky excluded from our deck, which means we need a different source of 2-droppedness. And looking at some of the new inclusions, there's nothing that screams that it's just awesome. So I think we're going to go with Mr. Simba. Good old protective cub. In particular, Simba can protect our Flynn rider, and we're also playing the relatively squishy Daisy Duck. So not a bad idea to get a bodyguard in play. I'm going to skip the Lilo this time because I don't want the 1-drop uninkable. I'm really hoping to just keep up on board presence. Cheshire Cat seems like a nice inclusion. If the opponent is low on resources, having to sacrifice a character, always a good plan. And speaking of which, we might as well play some Cusco. Cusco is always a nice inclusion. I don't like the non-inkable. There's also Lucifer, the cunning cat. Whenever you play him, the opponent either discards 2 cards or an action, which would fit great in our team. But I don't think we need more discard. I think we need more threatening cards. And what says threatening like a Cusco? So let's go a pair of Cuscos, because I'm afraid of the uninkable count. We also have access to the whole new beast, just a fantastic 6-drop. Let's go with a full playset of beasts in our deck. Card seems really good. Nothing too great with Mickey. We're playing an attrition game, so Christopher Robbins isn't overly great. Another bodyguard. Since we made a case for Simba, we can make a case for Maximus. And suddenly we have some inkable top ends. We have solid. Our 2-drops are solid. Our 3-drops are solid. Maybe a little over furnished at that. 4-drops are fine. 5, 5, 6. I think all we need is our inkable now. Maybe the removal if we can find some. There is that new spell that just destroys. Oh, there it is. World's Greatest Criminal Mind. Banish a character at 5 power or more. I think this is the time where we include a couple of those as flex spots. It's great in certain matchups, horrible in others, but in these others we just use it as an inkable card. Ring the Bell, also same thing. We're going to be playing a pair. Situational removal spells are good things to just fill in our curve. And I'm tempted to play a couple of Mulans, mostly for fun. We're playing 12 songs in our deck. What are the odds that the top card of our deck is going to be a song? It's pretty low. It's pretty low. No, I think it's just too low. We can't really afford it. Pack Tactics. It's a fun one-of. Can swing the tides of the battle. I think it's a nice flex character inclusion. Tinkerbell is also pretty good, although our 4-drops are filled. So we're really just looking for flex spots now. Inkable cards that have niche uses, that are going to get inked most of the time, that sometimes we're going to use them. Maybe one Hypnotize, if we don't have the discard at our disposal. Maybe a bigger card, something like a John Silver could be good. I've been quite happy with John Silver in the past. I mean, we are arguing after one flex spot now. So maybe we go. Yeah, maybe let's go John. Feels flexible. I mean, he has this mechanical arm that should be quite flexible, right? And so we have our list. And we're ready. And that's not roll on the floor laughing, but Rise of the Floodborn, hand control, complete disruption of our opponent, to complete this, let's just go ahead and play some games and find out. Oops, small edit before we make it to the Pixelborn games, because Ring the Bell is not implemented yet. Neither is World's Greatest Criminal, and we don't really have pack tactics yet, so we can't play around with them. I'm going to be adding in 1 John Silver and a full playset of Hypnotize instead. But I think the removal spells will be better once implemented, and they're just perfect examples of good flex spots. But for now, this is going to be the list that I'll actually be playing for lack of implemented cards. But I'm sure they'll be coming in the next few days. Alright, let's see what we have here. Cheshire Cat, pair of Simbas, pair of Prince Johns. 2 Prince Johns are probably overkill, although I'm curious. Let's try double Prince John and see how it fares. Send 1 Simba to the ink pool and keep the rest. Let's see what happens if we go double Prince John into Have You Forgotten Me. If tempo allows it, because I mean we are going second. Okay, some Amethyst. Maybe a min deck. Would really like to find a discard spell on 2. Oh, we don't really need that many Rapunzel, so we'll ink 1, pass the turn back. Tamatoa. Okay. Ooh, sudden chill. That's nice. Cat, sorry, not today. You're going to the ink. And Simba is going to bodyguard. Nothing. Then remain unexerted. One inks will let it go. Maleficent comes into draw card. Opponent not suspecting a thing. Mother knows best. Not really what we're looking for. That's fine. We're gonna... Actually, we have draw for days. We don't really need Rapunzel. Do I care more about Ariel or Rapunzel? I think I care more about Ariel here. Probably both gonna get inked, but... Prince John, here we go. Then might as well quest with Simba, because I can. 1/2 ward. Can't touch this. Well, Ruby Amethyst. There's Be Prepared, which our opponent is very far off of casting. Ooh, a Sorcerer's Spellbook, played by our opponent. And questing for 1 on the same turn. With, well, questing. Gaining 1 lore off of the ability of the item. Alright. Well, I think we get greedy here. Let's ink a 3rd Rapunzel. If these were real cards, I'd be really ashamed of spending so much money into the ink pool. I'm gonna pass the turn back. I could have sung Sudden Chill, and actually there's good argument for doing so there. I kind of want to surprise our opponent with a discard tree, get them to overcommit this turn. But in retrospect, it's probably a mistake. I just didn't think it through. When inks a Fishborn Quill, our opponent is expecting discard anyways. I mean, we have 2 Greediest Prince John. And when you go Prince John, Greediest of all, Prince John, Greediest of all, the player is the greediest of all. Ariel comes in, the Who's It Collector. Playing item shenanigans there. Alright, and here we go. You have forgotten me. You discard 2. I'll draw 4. Thank you very much. See, I don't need a Rapunzel. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hypnotize, Hypnotize, Daisy Duck Beast. Completely disgusting. And the opponent resigns. Before we even got them to discard 1 more card and draw 2 cards ourselves. Isn't this fun? Actually, I'm a little afraid that this will become tier 0. But for now, isn't this fun? Alright. I like this opening hand because it has a Prince John. Don't care so much for the Cusco so early on, and a bunch of inkable cards. And we're going first, so we're keeping Prince John and whatever else is inkable. Alright. Seems like a pretty decent hand to me. We're missing a big discard spell, but lamb. I don't know, couldn't think of a good expression to say there. But we will be keeping this. Be our guest, we'll go to the ink as we'll pass the turn back to our opponent. We do have quite a lot of bodyguards with a pair of Maximuses and the Simba. Playing to the max. Opponent inks a bell, then we draw a cat. I have no intention of playing that Simba, since Prince John and Flynn's ability will be sufficient to defend our little, I don't know, what is Flynn Rider? Human? Our little human there. Let's keep the focus on Prince John. He is going to be the biggest threat we have. And there he goes. And Flynn gets the quest, and if you decide to challenge him, well, I'm going to draw a card. Then you'll have to discard one. Fairly good trade, wouldn't you think? After all, we are the greediest of all, as the opponent plays a 1/1/4 ramp. That's also greedy in its own way. Followed by a Mickey Mouse, so the opponent is ramping aggressively. Right, we don't have a good 4-drop, but we can play an Ariel here. I think we want to go Ariel. Yeah, if we can find a good discard, something like that sudden chill right there. Just perfect draw. Don't think we want to sing it right away. I'm going to send Simba to the ink pool, and we'll quest with Flynn, because Flynn quests for 2, so I don't see a huge advantage casting the sudden chill or singing the sudden chill right away. To make our opponent discard 1, we draw 1. The opponent has a bunch of cards. We're going to do it for free, and I'd rather do it with Ariel than with Flynn. Simply because Flynn just generates that 2 lore. Opponent inks friends on the other side using Belle's ability to double ink for double success. Should I also be displaying the cards from the first chapter? Maybe I should. Let's display Belle. She is strange but special. So during your turn, you put an additional card from your hand into the ink well. And the opponent goes to quest and is on 7 ink. Alright, so here we want Sudden Chill to draw a card, and Ariel is going to sing it. So there you go. Each opponent discards a card. Sing, Ariel, sing what you do best. Although you typically do it better when they're higher cost to discard. But we'll draw a card off of it. And we draw a Daisy Duck. I really like Daisy Duck here. So I'm going to ink the cat, quest with Flynn, and play Daisy. And of course we're not going to be questing with Prince John. We want him at the ready. I should highlight Daisy Duck. The opponent plays a queen, so the opponent wants to draw some cards. We have Daisy, and whenever Daisy quests, our opponent's going to discard a card, which means we're going to draw a card. Now the opponent's thinking about playing that last card in hand, so that we don't discard it with Daisy. Or at least they should be thinking that. Don't shoot down Daisy Duck. She's a secret agent. You don't know she could be on your side. Yeah, alright. Opponent decides to ink the last card in their hand. And wisely doing so. That way we have no discard target. What a shame. Except we have Mother Knows Best. So Ariel's going to sing it. We're going to bounce the queen because it's the strongest card our opponent has. Daisy Duck will quest. Opponent has to discard the card that we just bounced back. And we get to draw a card. Like they say in Gladiator, are you not entertained? Does this seem fair? Doesn't seem very fair to me. As character quest, each opponent chooses and discard a card. Okay, well apparently there's a bug here. But the opponent would have to discard that bell. Or that queen that we just sent out. But apparently it's not implemented yet. But in your head, just think of the awesomeness. I mean, we're still at 10 lore now. With an amazing beast. Opponent befuddles our Flynn rider. Where are you, beast? Beast is here. Relentless. Whenever an opponent character is damaged, you may ready this character. Opponent plays the queen back. In vain. Alright, and here we quested beast. I guess we start questing with the Prince John, because he's still a 2-quester. Ariel can take out Belle. Beast Relentless unexerts quests for 2 more. So that Ariel was worth 2 lore this turn. And then we can play Bodyguard. Gotta keep the prince safe. As we pass the turn back. With some pretty threatening threats on the battlefield. I guess we could have gotten an extra combat in with Beast if we wanted to. Just take out Mickey, take out Grammatella, and then quest. Beast doesn't care. Beast just goes to town. Actually, he's going to get ready on the defense here. I wonder if that's a mistake they did and they wanted to say whenever this character is damaged during your turn, you may ready this character. Because it's a pretty nice defensive ability. Alright, so you have to be careful about the timing. Because the opponent froze our Ariel, but after the combat, we got to unfreeze our beast. And then we just win the game. Easy peasy. Just like that. Even with a huge ability not resolving due to an in-game bug. Still, the deck is a real thing and is pretty strong. Alright, what do we have here? A hypnotic hand with a Prince John. Too many hypnotizes. Yeah, just a bit too many, and we'll send a beast back. So we definitely want to keep Prince John. I'd like to have a 2-drop. Sudden Chill, Flynn Rider, Hypnotized. It doesn't get much better than that. Ink and Hypno. Pass the turn. Hypnotize, the Mesmerizing card. I mean, look at this Ka. Spiraling. I mean, the opponent's playing Stitch. And if you hypnotize a Stitch, I mean, he gets a Twitch, right? Alright, well. Simba's gonna go to the ink pool. And we're gonna play Flynn Rider to match our opponent's Lilo. Good old Flynn from the first chapter. Whenever he's challenged, opponent must discard a card. Opponent follows up with Aurora. Alright, well, the hypnotizes just keep on coming. So we're gonna ink one. Play a Prince John. And I guess we can sudden chill here. Let's just chill. You discard a card, I draw a card. Seems like a good deal to me. On turn 3, everybody. Now, of course, I'll activate. Oh, and still my turn. So I'll pass a turn to our opponent. Opponent is starting to dwindle on resources, sending a Robin Hood to the ink pile, playing a Mickey. Up to 4 ink. Opponent has the quest. You can take out Flynn. Go ahead. I want nothing more than for you to give me more cards. Which you will do anyways, because you have forgotten me. Makes you discard 2. And with Prince John, that means that I get to draw 2. Yoink. And you might as well quest with Flynn, because why not? I guess I should have taken out the Lilo. I'm getting a little too fond of this deck here. Opponent playing a Hades to pick back up a big Aurora. Opponent goes to quest. It's a pretty aggressive curve our opponent has. Yeah, he really should have taken out that Lilo when I had the chance. So now what do I want to do here? Well, Cheshire Cat is too defensive. Or too quest heavy. He's not going to help me to take out these threats. This time I won't take out Lilo. I do need something to take out that Aurora. I could go with Maximus. The Hypnotize is quite tempting. But I do think I want the bigger threat. How much does the opponent have on the battlefield? 3, 4. Even with the big Aurora. Yeah, I get the safely quest with Prince John here. I mean, he's still a 2-quester. Heavy questing is definitely the way to beat this deck, if there is one. Opponent will hardcast Aurora. And go to 15. Alright, well, I'm going to ink an Ariel. I definitely want John Silver the Aurora here. I need to take out the small Aurora. I can let my opponent quest for 2. That's fine. So I'm gonna sudden chill singing with Flynn. Doesn't really matter. Opponent discards 1. We draw 1 off of Prince John. Mother knows best. That's a nice pickup. Gonna take out the quester here. And we're gonna force Aurora the challenge. And we don't really need Prince John anymore, so we're just gonna quest. The more I play John Silver, the more I like this card. I used to think Genie was the almighty 6-drop for Emerald. I'm starting to think John Silver might just be better. Ooh, Mr. Squee, 2-5. Oh my. Well, I have a challenge, and the only thing you can challenge is my Maximus. We get the turn back. I think we've generated enough advantage. So I want to take out Aurora. I think that's the efficient way to do it. Take out Aurora with Prince John. Sorry, Prince. Sometimes you've got to do some work. We're going to take out Mickey, because it's mostly free. Then we're going to hard bounce Mr. Squee. Draw a card, have the opponent discard a card. Love the bounce and throw away. Found a Daisy Duck. Can go up to 7, which isn't overly helpful. I still think don't think we need to ink the Hypnotize this turn. Another Mr. Squee. One will probably quest with Hades. Up to 17. Alright. Well, we gotta start taking out those threats as much as we can. Here, Maximus is tempting. So I am going to ink the Hypnotize to play a bodyguarding Maximus, protecting John and the Flynn Rider. Just an extra threat. Lantern. Big miss from our opponent. Squee's gonna quest, I imagine. When you're so close. And that's the problem with this card. Sometimes you're stuck with You Have Forgotten Me. In case I top deck into another bounce spell, I'm gonna keep it in hand. Oops. For some reason I thought Maximus had 5 power. Well. John Silver is going to force Mr. Squee to challenge into Maximus. I tend to forget that that's a when you quest ability as well with John. You can just keep on forcing our opponent to ram into our big walls. Ooh, beast. And here we can just quest with everything, and the opponent resigns. John Silver doing some work to close out that game. And Prince John doing all the early game work, just decimating our opponent's resources and making sure that we do make it to the end game. But that was a close one. Let's see what we get this game. Alright, a bunch of inkables, but no Prince John. I'd really like to get one. So I'm going to mulligan somewhat aggressively here. Finding an Hypnotize, a Beast, a Maximus, and a John Silver. Alright, we're going to play with that. I think we're going to ink a John to begin the parade. John Silver, Prince John. They're made for each other. A greedy king and pirate. What's not to like? I think we're gonna ink our Hypnotize and go after a more aggressive approach. If we can't play with a huge card advantage, we might as well play some tempo game. Opponent also having some emerald threats of their own. Flynn Riders just watching each other. Gonna ink our Simba. And we'll open the Dance of Quest with our Flynn. 2-0 for the home team. Opponent doubles up on the Flynns. Opponent goes to quest. Alright. Mr. Flynn. Looking at Mr. Flynn. Here I think I just want to ink the Sudden Chill. And say go. There's no real good... Actually, you know what? I think I'm just going to hardcast Rapunzel here. Draw 0. Just having the 1/5 quest for 2 threat on the battlefield, I think is the right play. Just not sacrificing any tempo and going for pressure. Taking advantage of the fact that we went first. Opponent goes to quest. And we'll get a bodyguard our stuff with good old Maximus. As we quest for a bunch. even without Prince John to just completely decimate our opponent's resources. The deck has solid legs to stand on. Steal from the riches. Wow. That's new. It's actually pretty useful in a situation like, well, it's alright in a situation like this. Whenever one of your character quests this turn, each opponent loses 1 lore. So the opponent goes +5 for them, -3 for us. But then we go Ink Simba, Go Beast, and we're gonna sing Mother Knows Best off of Maximus, since he quests for less. Now let's send the Flynn Rider back. And I guess we still try to race. It's tempting to go after that Flynn Rider now. Because we have nothing left to lose. That's what I don't like about Steal from the Rich. Steal from the Rich. It doesn't really get you anything on board. Well, among other things. Compared to a 6-drop like Beast Relentless, it pales in comparison. Opponent's at 6. I don't think there's any board wipe shenanigans our opponent can do. Let it go on Beast Relentless. It's not gonna do it, as we can quest for too much and just winning off of sheer aggro. I mean, it's Emerald. Emerald aggro hasn't gone anywhere. I just added a prince that can completely turn the tides of battle as well. I hope that you've enjoyed this video featuring Prince John, greediest of all, in this very greedy, aggressive list with lots of healing, removal that, well, okay, not that much removal, but large amount of disruption, destroying our opponent's hand, drawing a ton of resources, questing for a lot, having Beast Relentless do, well, do his thing. John Silver being a nice addition. Actually, you might bump him up a little bit to an extra copy. Maybe go to a 3-3 split with Beast Relentless. But the list performed pretty well. You've seen these games where the opponent's just devastated when you have the perfect draws, or just a draw with Prince John. And the deck is still solid, even when you don't draw Prince John. It's an aggressive curve that Emerald likes to do, with some healing, some bodyguard, some removal type abilities. It's a strong deck and a solid contender, according to me, to become the new tier 1 deck. It's gonna at least join tier 1 decks, if not surpass them. Yes, Tinkerbell, I'm looking at you. You might no longer be part of the metagame. And this is the point where you go in the comments and let me know whether you think Prince John is going to take over the metagame and start winning some tournaments, or whether I'm completely wrong and this is going to be a tier 2 deck and it's just going to be annoying discard and nobody's going to care in 2 weeks. Well, I value your opinion. I've had a lot of fun playing this list. I hope my opponents didn't feel too bad about me destroying all their resources. They probably did, but I haven't really cut any games. It's really just 4-0. The deck is strong. The deck is going to get stronger as we get more cards revealed for Rise of Floodborn. This is really only a halfway point through the release of the spoilers, so there's still room to grow. And especially with these flex spots. In particular, the Hypnotizes can get replaced, and as the cards get implemented, I might try a variant with a bit more flexibility in these flex slots, which I think is actually going to be a stronger variation of this deck. Again, if you've enjoyed this type of video, let me know in the comments. Do like and subscribe to the video, and I'll see you next time.